But like less than two days ago, like within the last 2 days, I remember seeing posts.
He's barely going to keep it on the racing surface.
I don't know that we'll see a pass here as they go.
A deep dive on the brakes. Here comes the 680 to the inside.
By 7 of a second. I can't believe what we just saw.
For some drivers, it's the end of a chapter. For a lot of other drivers, it's the beginning of a new chapter. Here we begin a 4-race chase for the end of the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series 2020 A season. And what better place to start off this chase than at Charlotte Motor Speedway. My name is Finney DeCuna. I'm here tonight with Connor Horn. And again, starting the chase for where 12 drivers will have the chance of trying to win the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series Championship.
Yep, for the ones that finally made it to this point, it's all or nothing at this point. No saving anything now. You gotta go for it from the very green flag tonight, and no better place to do it. In my opinion, the center of NASCAR racing,
ago,
and
like
this track provides a lot of great racing, and I'm excited to see it.
Here we are. We go trackside here as qualifying is just beginning here, and we got drivers already rolling out of the track. Guys got 5 minutes to qualify and put in two fast laps. You look at Hayden Pistorius here coming out of turn 2, and Connor, we were talking about it before, just before we went live, about this, especially with these Xfinity cars, which is the first time these guys are using it for this event, being the Fuel World 400 here at Charlotte, is the third running of it. With the Xfinity car, it leads to a few problems for these drivers.
The main problem are the exits of the corners, especially in these Xfinity cars at 1.5 mile tracks. They tend to slide off of the turn when the banking changes, and it really gets people just all over the place out of the turns. I expect to see a lot of people walking it out of turns 2 and 4, and it's going to be hard to keep the car on the bottom, especially as the right front wears throughout the long runs, if we do get those long runs. And I believe those are going to be the big trouble spots out of 2 and 4.
First few drivers come across the line to set their time, including Hayden Pistorius, who will drop into the third place position. Currently at the moment, Travis McQuistion's sitting on provisional pole. Still a plethora of drivers waiting to come across the line. One driver that was looking pretty fast in practice was Chad Simpson, the 46. He topped the practice timesheets. As he comes out of turn 4, I'm curious to see where he ends up.
Let's see, he's coming to the line now. He actually didn't top the practice boards. Johnston got him at the very end, but a 6.35 only puts him 9th. And was that his second lap? No, that was his first lap. The second lap you usually pick up with how the tire model is, so we'll see what he does here. He's going down the back right now.
Yeah, and absolutely, as you start to pick up more heat in the tire, it gets a little bit fast for these drivers. You see Robert Gaba's now on top of the sheets. As we look at 46 is Simpson coming out of turn 4 and across the line for him. See if he improves. He's currently 11th. He will jump up to 3rd. So solid qualifying effort for him. Michael Stroll in the 8 is going to jump up to provisional pole for now. Some drivers really keeping an eye on is going to be the 76 Mitch Welker, as he's rolling out onto the track. Will Roberts also just went second fastest, but Robert Gaba immediately took it back.
Yep, the second lap benefiting him again. And speaking of Welker, like you said, he's going into turn 3 to start his first lap, and Nick Johnson is on the track right behind.
Keeping definitely an eye on both these drivers here. We'll keep an eye on Mitch as he's further up ahead. We expect both these drivers to be near the front of the field, especially that 20 and Nick Johnson on an absolute roll. Has won both the last 2 races, one of them being 1.5 miles at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So expecting him to perform very well here. As per usual, he's been a very solid driver this season so far as Welker starts his lap.
Yep, if you're going to win a championship, you're going to have to take it away from Johnson. He's been on fire all season. I believe 5 wins to his credit. He's been dominating the last couple of weeks. You're going to have to pry the championship trophy away from his fingers.
Look at Welker come across the line for him. It's going to be 30.4. He's going to jump up into 10th for now. Nick Johnson as he comes across the line here. 30.263.
279. Wow.
Already
That
on
was like
pole. Doesn't
2.
doesn't even need the second lap. That's incredible.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to be on his first lap, and he's still going 2. He might hit a 1.
We'll see here where they end up for Welker. He's coming out of turn 4 for his effort. He's gonna jump potentially from 11th.
Ninth.
Jump up into 9th. So a small gain for him. For Nick Johnson, is really just a matter of adding on to his pole position.
Alright, he slowed down. That's interesting.
Yeah, interesting stuff indeed, but we'll definitely maintain the pole. Looking at Jared Dixon still on the track. Looks like he's done. Jeremy Miller in the 23rd.
That's some front end damage Dixon does.
That's definitely not going to help you in qualifying. For Jeremy Miller, he's going to come across the line as his clock ticks to 0. Actually, won't even get to the line.
Make it.
Oh, man. Too close for comfort.
I think he might have been just running laps, actually. Yeah, he already ran that 5. I think he was just running laps for practice, maybe. Not someone you usually see at the front of the pack on a mile and a half. More the plate racer himself, but he's got a set of skills to do well here tonight.
Yeah, definitely looking to situate himself inside around the top 15, top 10 in the midfield. But if he's not going to get ready to run laps, I'm sure these guys are definitely going to have to get ready now, because we're in store for 167 here at Charlotte as we start to go through your starting lineup. Rolling across the bottom of your screen, Nick Johnson going to be lining up on pole as per usual. Brian Chambliss next to him in the 25 in second.
A great qualifying effort from Chambliss, and he's got P3 Colin Fambro. Robert Gaba, also a great qualifying effort for him in P4, and rounding out the top 5 is Will Robert.
Yeah, and then moving right behind, or next to him, Michael Stroll going to start in the 8 car in 6th. Chance Simpson going to be lining up in the 46 in 7th. Casey Licata's good qualifying effort from the 50 car. Going to line up in 8th. Mitch Welker going to line up in the 76 in 9th. And rounding out your first 5 rows is going to be Travis McCushion in 10th.
Hayden Pistorius, one of the usual threats to win one of these races, P11. David Cobb on his outside, P12. Jeremy Miller, who we mentioned earlier, 13th. Casey Shue on his outside, 14th. Thomas Bresci, 15th, another threat to look out for. And Christian Gritzko with a 5.34, sitting in 16th.
Back in 17th is going to be Christopher Matthews in the 92. Next to him, Tyler Dollier going to line up in 18th in the 88 car. Another row back in 19th, we find Mike Hurley in the 32 car. Next to him, Joel Holloway in 20th in the 66 car.
Calvin Filarski in 21st, David Mott Jr. right beside him in 22nd, and the last qualifier to put a time down, a whopping 43.132, Jared Dixon, who had some damage on his final lap. And aside him, the first one to not put a time down is Riley Thompson in the 58.
Moving on back, we find Tyler Hensley in 25th. Next to him, Steve Herring going to line up in 26th in the 98. Evan Adams going to line up in 27th. Next to him, John Wilco in 28th as the field begins to roll off. And rounding out your field and right behind, 29th is going to be Randy Beater Jr. in the 64 car. The field begins to roll off onto the track here, and as these drivers begin to take to the track, we'll have a look at your weather for tonight. Ambient 77 degrees in the air, track surface 80 degrees Fahrenheit. You can potentially expect that to cool here, as you can see the sun starting to set here at Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, just like yesterday in the Grand National race at Montreal, definitely no rain in the forecast. If it was realistic weather, I think it would be pouring, just like it is, unfortunately, at Darlington tonight. Luckily, we don't have to miss an Xfinity race.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I was going to say they're having the Cup race back there tomorrow, right?
Yep, well, stuttering. It looks like it's going to rain until Thursday. They're going to be lucky to get one race in, I think. It sucks, but, it's NASCAR, always weather permitting.
Indeed. So again, these drivers don't have to worry about that here tonight, and I'm sure they're going to be glad to. It's one less worry on their mind, but especially for our chase our chase drivers. They got their sights set on the Cup here. They're going to have to go through 4 races and a few other drivers to get to it here as we get ready to go green here. Field rolling slowly to the restart line. And here we go. Green flag at Charlotte for 167 laps.
There's a bit of a stack up in the back of the pack. Mitch Welker almost got into the back of the 46, I believe, but it seems like everyone's clean in the turn 1, and this Chambliss not giving up the lead too easily. He's almost into the back bumper of Nick Johnston, trying not to get hooked, stopped on that outside line there, but he's going for the leader.
Yeah, he's not wasting any time here as we start to get the field sorted out. Chambliss working around that outside lane, trying to make a pass. To his inside, there's Colin Fambro lining up in 3rd. He's trying to make himself and move himself up into 2nd and even 1st.
Yeah, it's a big risk going to the outside line. You either make the pass up there or you go backwards. With this new tire model, it's hard to get anything going on the outside lane. You're just looking for a lane to the inside line, and that's where Champs is going to get to. He's going to settle in P3 for now.
Yeah, you got pushed back from Colin Farmer right behind a big mess of cars. Looking at leading that group, it's the 8 of Michael Stroll on the inside next to him. Robert Gaba, a solid qualifying effort from him. Casey Okadas with a new paint scheme on. Oh, as you see McQuistion hit the wall.
Yeah, Gaba wasn't as lucky as Chambliss. He can't really get to the bottom, and he's not going to get to the bottom for a while at this rate. He might drop out of a top 10 at this rate.
Definitely looking at everyone battlefield. Whoa, as we go up to the front, Colin Farmer already moving to the inside, going to take the lead away from the 28 Nick Johnson. That was surprisingly quick.
Maybe a little bit of a dive into turn 1. Didn't quite see it, but it could all be Nick Johnson just conserving the tires, letting Fambro burn him up a little bit. We'll see here, see what kind of gap Fambro gets. Yeah,
and again, all the drivers here, you can see with the red banners, those drivers are your chase drivers. Drivers with a gold banner are fighting in a championship of their own. It's the best of the rest. And drivers without any colors on it, those are just your kind of your normal drivers. So looking at Colin Farrell trying to get ahead of Nick Johnson again, trying to beat him in the points. Johnson walked into this round with a heaping amount of playoff points just due to finishing position in the regular season. Did a great job there. Colin Farrell all the way back in 9th in the standings. He's 40 points back from Johnson going into the chase, so he's got a lot of ground to make up.
It's going to be a long climb indeed, but I expect nothing less. I guarantee he's going to have a great run at it to the very end. As I'm looking through the field, it's pretty single file, maybe until about 11th or 12th or single file, as it's David Kolb and Thomas Bressi side by side. It's Bressi stuck on the top right now.
Bressi trying to make a move to the outside, working around the 17 to David Kolb. Trying to get that run off at turn 4, but surprising to see most of the field very single file, but still very close to each other. You see him falling behind the 17.
It's going to take a couple laps for the tires to start not evening out, starting to get more separated as 24 is drifting off the bottom a good bit here. We'll at the end of this run, we'll see the tire difference make a difference, and that's when it'll spread out. We'll see who's burning the tires up and who's saving.
The 23 of Miller pull out a line for just a little bit. Gonna pull back in. You see how it really is amazing. Their guys running so close together, nose to tail, for pretty much the entire top 15 single file.
That's what you expect to see in a plate race, but it's not quite how it is anymore. Fambro took the lead, but he has not gotten a big gap. He's either not as much faster as Nick Johnson, or he's just trying to manage that gap and not burn his tires.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the key, is really just managing that gap. You already have the lead, but you can easily burn up your tires trying to break away, and then Johnson will be back on his rear bumper. So I think this is him playing it a little bit conservative here in these opening laps.
On the old tire model, you just go for it all the time. You have to be much smarter with this new tire model. If you burn them up too much, you're likely going to blow a right front tire with how long the runs are going to be.
And looking on back here, Bressi working back to the inside, or trying to have a look back up the inside of the 17. Can't quite get it done. He gets the door slammed on him there. Again, trying to just look a little bit further back to see. I saw some battles brewing earlier, but it looks like those have subsided. So we go back up to the front of the field, and this is where a lot of things can happen. If something goes wrong, and again, Lakatos, a great run for him in the 50 car.
Yeah, looking good so far. He's at the tail end of I wouldn't say a fully separated lead pack, but there is a little bit of a gap back to the 46 of Chad Simpson. Yes, the 39 up the track there. Lakatos is going to get under him, hopefully. A little bit of a battle here. Yeah,
as we were talking about, again, that bottom lane, definitely the place you want to be. Is Lakatos tries to have a look up the inside of the 8 as well. And it looks like both the 8 and the... Whoa, here comes Lakatos, 3 wide to the inside. A late move into turn 1.
It looks like he's going to get the position. P4 for him. They lost the top 3 a little bit. Oh, did someone get in the wall there? I thought Welker got into the wall. Maybe not, but definitely a power move there.
No, probably got very close to it. And you see him he's trying to rip the outside lane here, coming off of turn 4, but that inside lane just too good at the moment. Pistorius trying to get that runs. The battle going on for 8th place.
Looks like we might be seeing some other drivers getting a bit urgent for track position, seeing all the single file action as Mitch Welker's starting to go backwards here. Robert Gaba to the inside of him now, I believe, might be for P9.
Battling it for position number 9 here as Gaba is trying to force it on the inside. Welker, not much he can do, and this is driving so far at the moment in the early laps. Very much like Martinsville, inside lane, the place to be. If you're on the outside, you kind of get stuck there. And Welker looks like he might be falling back here as McQuistion now trying to have a look to the inside and up in the lead. Nick Johnson side by side with Colin Fambro into turn 1.
The lead didn't last too long. Johnston back to the point, got the preferred inside line in the tri-oval, and let's see if he can run away with it. Chambliss is sticking with these two as well.
Yeah, we were talking about it when Lakatos was battling with the 8 car. It was a bit of a breakaway from our leaders, and the top 3 are indeed split away from the rest of the pack. Again, not something you would really expect here from a track like Charlotte, but here we are with a 3-way battle for the lead. I'm curious what Chambliss has got in store sitting behind both of our leaders.
Hopefully still got some tires. The tires that the 5 and a 28 hopefully have. A really good run, these 3. Hopefully trying to separate themselves from the rest of the pack. It's better to be around the least amount of people as the yellow comes out. So scratch that. Tyler Dolger in the 88 around in turn 2.
Oh yeah, missing the nose off of that car. He took a massive hit. Looks like to the outside wall here. We're looking at a replay of the 88. Is going to turns 1 and 2. Oh, he got some help here from the 16 of Jared Dixon.
Yeah, Dixon just couldn't hold the bottom. Wow, the 2. I don't know how Filarski missed him. A bit lucky there, maybe. Hard hit for the 88. 98, the 98 did a great job there.
Riding on board the 16 now, you see him just wash up on the inside, clips the 88. Round he goes hard into the wall. Hurley was lucky to avoid getting a piece of that in that 32 machine. Continue on. Yeah, so now if you're the leader, we had pretty much 13 laps of green flag running. Do you pit and do you stay out?
I don't see much strategy happening with how the tire wear is. I don't even think 2 tires is a good option. Maybe you want to test it early in the race, but I think everyone's going to get 4 tires here.
We'll see if anyone tries anything. And this is kind of where I find where the strategy gets interesting, because it's looking at least in the early part of the run. That track position is definitely going to be key. So, later in the race, not necessarily now. I'm curious to see if we're going to see anyone, throw
Filarski
Filarski
stayed out, I believe, actually. I don't wonder if that's maybe... While I was looking at the back of the pack, I think the 88 hit the wall under yellow, possibly.
Potentially here, looking at everyone in their pit stall, seeing a driver roll on through pit road at Joel Holloway in the 66. He's going to roll on through. Meanwhile, race off pit road is going to be Johnston. Fambro, Lakatos almost got past Chambliss, but looks like it was not enough. For the most part, looks like our order going to pretty much remain the same as we came in.
Yep, pretty much everyone on their own there. Probably not much position swapping going on there. I'm looking through the field, see anyone else has damage from hitting the wall. The only one I can see with visible right front damage is the 10 of David Mott Jr. He might have tapped the wall out of one of these turns.
Take a look back at David Mott Jr. in the 10 machine. You can see, the side skirt all messed up towards the rear, or the rear tire. Right.
Turn 10, lap 4, just drifted up too high, and that's what I was talking about. It just catches you by surprise sometimes how much you'll drift out of these corners with the banking difference. It caught him by surprise there.
Yeah, and I think we're also starting to see these guys slide up in the later part of the run as well, so definitely something for these guys to manage. Looking at Calvin Filarski and Joel Holloway coming down pit road, and I think for Filarski, he stayed out there. Again, you can see a red banner on that machine. He's a chase driver and was barely got in as a chase driver. He was one of the wild card positions. Same thing with Brian Chambliss in the 25. Chambliss running much better though than Filarski. Filarski got some work to do as we got 1 to green here.
This is exactly the run Chambliss needs to keep his chase hopes alive, but he doesn't even need to really pass the top 2. He just riding in 3rd would likely be enough to get a great points day, but long way to go.
There's a long way to go, and again, this is the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Clicking on a button, it's not working. Oh wait, okay, there's 2 different... Oh, I see, okay. I was not doing what I thought it did. This is the button I was looking for. They're popping up the name of the track.
Good job.
This is why Cal normally does this stuff and I don't. But field rolling through turns 3 and 4 here. Interested in seeing, do we see any other challengers up in the front, or do you think it's going to be effectively a race between the 20 and the 5 for tonight?
It's hard to tell who the real contenders are right now. It's hard to pass early in a run, but the 28 and 5, they've been top 2 all race, but I believe it's still going to be really tough to dethrone Nick Johnston.
Field comes out of turn number 4. We get ready to go back green here, coming to lap 17. When Johnson rolling really slow and start, finally gets on the gas. Green flag back in the air.
Bit of an earlier start that time, a bit of a stack up and a way back on the bottom lane, but everyone gets away clean, as does the 28, a big lead into turn number 1.
A great run for him, looking at Stroll and Will Roberts side by side as they round out of turn number 2. And for Jeremy Miller, he's going to back out of the battle with the 46, still side by side with the 38 and the 8.
That's how much people value the bottom. Miller just lifted so he could get down there before the 17 can take advantage. Will Roberts not giving up on the outside on his part, though. He's sticking it up there. And Hayden Pistorius is coming for that spot.
Yeah, going to stick his nose up the inside lane. Very valuable for these drivers. Will Roberts going to pull way out of the high lane. I'm curious if he's trying to see if he can ride the wall, maybe get a good enough run off of turn 4 to kind of keep up with the guys in the inside.
See, meanwhile, at the back of the pack on that restart, before he even got into turn 1, David Mott Jr., he landed on the inside wall on lap 17 right after the restart, and he's in the pits. He's probably done.
Yeah, I did see him in the pits, wasn't sure why, so there we go. So Mott's going to call out a day early on here. Looking for a lot of scraps in the midfield. Bressie in the middle of this mix, as well as 76 of Welker.
Maybe David Mott missed a shift, not sure, but he's definitely out of any contention for a good finish today. I saw people going almost into the AstroTurf for a pass. We didn't note, I don't think we noted that before. The AstroTurf down there, there's grip down there. You might see crazy moves near the end of this race.
Oh, we've seen some crazy moves in the past, looking at the Outsider Racing League race that you were in at Charlotte. I forgot who it was exactly, but someone tried to make a pass going down into the tri-oval, into turn 1, and end up causing a massive collision, so I hope we don't see that.
I think it was, I don't mean to rat him out, but I think it was Alex Bell.
Oh, yes, it was Alex Bell, yeah.
He went over the curb and everything. I remember seeing that in my mirror.
Yeah, that was
another thing.
That was quite the move, to say the least. As you look at Welker battling side by side with the 17 and David Cal. Thomas Bressie riding beside him.
Will Roberts is not giving this fight up for, I believe it's 7th. He is sticking it out on that outside. The 46 just can't get by.
Yeah, and if you're in Will Roberts' position, do you give this position up and just kind of, find your place in line, or do you try to fight for everything it's worth?
He's got no gap to the inside to get into, so you just got to fight for what you can, and it's going to work. He clears the 46, and the 46 has to fend off Jeremy Miller. Miller makes a dive into third.
Yeah, great move for Jeremy Miller to the inside, looking in turn 3. Now Chad Simpson looking if he can try to defend on that outside lane. We saw Will Roberts make it possible, so it's definitely doable, but can Chad Simpson get it done? Trying to see him as he's side by side and even forming up like a little bit of a group here of side by side cars.
Meanwhile, in the back, Evan Adams went through the AstroTurf a bit too much there. He dropped a couple of spots, but all good. Kept it straight.
Checking quickly back with our leaders here. At the top of the field, Nick Johnson leading over Colin Farrell there, slowly breaking away from Brian Chambliss and Casey Lakatos. Running third and fourth in behind.
You saw the 3-car breakaway on the first run. It's now up to 4 cars with Lakatos joining the fray. Those 4 trying to separate themselves from Michael Stroll, who's sitting just inside the top 5.
Stroll having a pretty solid run at the moment. Started in 6th, is currently running in 5th, so not a whole lot of movement for him. It's been a fairly static day so far, 23 laps in.
See Farrell just staying all over the back bumper of Nick Johnson. You can see Nick Johnson not giving him any sort of leeway on the inside. He's making sure no one cuts the dog legs right there. He doesn't want any of them.
Riding on board with Nick Johnson as well as he's leading over the field. And as far as laps led for Nick Johnson this season so far, he's led a lot. I'm trying to find the number here. Of the laps this season he's completed 1,220 laps. He's led 750 of them.
Wow.
That's
a big one, yeah.
So that's over 50% of laps. Not sure the exact one, but that's definitely over half the laps he's run. So
I'm just continuously watching this group around 15th, 59, not the 59, 93. McQuiston and the 17 of Call have been side by side. They've been kind of grouped up there for a while now.
Yeah, it really is. I've been kind of waiting for a wreck, if anything, between these guys. You gotta imagine for some drivers, the patience might be running out, running so close together, but not able to really get any spots. But so far, they're making it work here nose to tail.
And the wrecks are more frequent now because with this tire model, there's not much multi-groove racing. Like, you can't run the wall that well anymore, so you have to pinch even harder now, and with that, it creates a lot of problems in the middle of the corners.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's exactly what we saw for our first wreck of the night with drivers on the outside trying to pinch drivers on the inside. Speaking of a pinch, Bressie trying to look to the inside, Simpson pinching him down into turn 3, but Bressie's still going to make the dive, man, make the move work.
That's another thing we gotta talk about. We saw it in ORL, how heavy the blocking can be. Oh, Mitch Welker got into a wall there. He keeps it straight, bit of a stack up on the top. But we saw that in ORL. These Xfinity cars aren't as draft dependent. You don't get big runs out of the turns because of a draft, but the blocking is still very heavy in Xfinity cars. You'll get blocked to the apron, and you either have to pull out or, you gotta just go for it. It could cause a big wreck, but you gotta make a risk sometimes.
And you see Welker, speaking of risk, making a dive to the inside of Simpson into turn 3. Simpson trying to pinch that 76 on down, but they're going to be side by side coming out of the corner.
We'll see how Welker does for the rest of the race. Sorry to cut you off there, but we'll see how he does for the rest of the race. A little bit of right front damage like that can just end your race completely. It'll hurt the right front even more than you will, but it seems like he's still got some speed in that car. He gets around to 46.
Absolutely, great move. Done. Oh, not done yet.
Oh.
Thought it was said and done. Here comes Chad Simpson back to the inside in turn 3.
Think this is where the wreck's going to happen if it does?
Yeah, potentially, considering how hard these guys are running. It's a matter of how much space they're willing to give. And we see Welker actually give quite a bit of space on exit. Simpson going to get on by, and here comes McQuistion as well. Going to try to take advantage as well as he goes to the inside of Welker.
Welker might be starting to struggle at any moment now with the turning he's gonna have. He's gonna have a hard time trying to rotate the center now.
Looking up ahead of them, Bressie working to the inside of Robert Gaba in the 75, and Gaba having a solid day. He actually started up a little bit further. He started up in 4th, has drifted back into 9th, and potentially to 10th here as Bressie's going to battle for that 9th spot.
He mainly drifted back because he just couldn't get to the bottom on the initial start. Put him back, I believe, almost outside the top 10, but he hasn't been able to gain the spots back up. I think it's just best that he rides right now in what position is that? He's P10 now.
Yeah, and looking at Jeremy Miller, too, he was looking like he was going to build up a run on Will Roberts. Roberts, a decent run for him in 7th place. Everyone just aiming for that bottom of the track.
The top 4 is still separated from 5th. Hayden Pistorius has moved up into 5th. He passed Michael Scholl a few laps back, as those two are a little bit on their own there, as it's a bit bottlenecked from 7th on back. Will Roberts really leading the main pack in a way, as here comes Bressie on Miller.
Yeah, and the top 4 running significantly faster than the rest of the field, running a 10th faster than everyone else by comparison as you look at Bressie. Now he's on an absolute tear through the field, picking up guys one by one.
That's for 8th, 15th to 8th so far. Miller had gained 5 spots. He'll be back to 4 spots, maybe 3. Gaba's gonna not give him any leeway to the inside line.
You can see right behind them as drivers fighting for position. Gaba going to get to the inside of Miller. Miller going to easily back off and pull on in behind. I see Chad Simpson also, that 46 on the back of Miller. Tries to pull out to the inside of turn 3, but not quick enough.
Yeah, a bit of a late dive if he even chose to dive right there. You got to be careful on those, especially this early in the race. You don't want to force it like that.
Absolutely, and really solid pack forming up here. Trying to look if there's anything else going on back. How about Riley Thompson? Not a good day for him at all. We expect to see him definitely a top 10 car. Started all the way back in 24th, is currently up to 16th, so it's positive for him today, but definitely I don't think the place he would ideally like to be.
He's in this little pack here with David Kolb and Christian Gritzko. He's trying to get through them now. He's inside of a 17 now, a little bit off the main pack up there, which has 14th on up. He's clear now. We'll see if he can chase him.
Yeah, indeed. And Christian Gritzko, driver of the Verdenza Sports Car Challenge on Wednesdays, and will be racing tomorrow night at Spa. It's a series that I host. So nice to see him out on the track doing pretty solidly in the middle of the field. Started in 16th, is just passed himself into 16th, the inside of Calb.
A couple guys side by side. Miller and Simpson side by side out of 4. Miller slipped off the top a couple turns ago, and he's going to drop back another spot now. The right front might be ailing.
Yeah, that's another thing these drivers got to worry about too. That right front starting to wear out as you push it pretty hard, especially to get these cars pinned down to the inside of the corners.
Oh.
And speaking of which, Bresci, as Gaba makes a move to the inside.
Thought there was contact there. It looked like the 24 got a little bit squirrely, but maybe not. Gaba's going to get by him here. I believe he's going to
Oh.
get the... Oh, whoa. Is that Miller? I think Miller almost pinched McQuiston onto the apron there at the 3. That was close.
I was looking at the run with the 24 and the 75. Bresci got into the back of the 75.
I didn't even notice that. Yeah, there is damage there.
Yeah, so guys getting feisty here, and I think we might be seeing Bresci. He might have pushed a little bit too hard. He's on a really good run forward, but Gaba got around him. Here comes Gaba, potentially looking to the inside of Stroll and down into turn 3. Have a little bit of a look on entry, not enough, as Roberts is clear of the 8.
It's a guy who might have pushed early. Stroll was clearly into 5th, but he's dropping back considerably now. He might drop back to 9th at this rate. He's dropped a lot of time.
Yeah, he's really dropping like a rock now. He's got a few drivers in behind willing to pick up those spots. There goes Gaba on by. Bresci trying to keep that car pinned to the inside, but washes up, loses a lot of time, and here comes Chad Simpson.
Meanwhile, at the front, a bit of a battle. Whoa! Contact on the back! Jeremy Miller and the 44 got together. The 44 spinning.
Is that going to bring out a caution? It does not.
I was about to say, Chambliss got to second. The second lead for the Nick Johnston now, but that was down the backstretch we saw that happen.
Yeah, not sure here. They just kind of found each other in the middle of the straightaway. Enzo did a fantastic job saving that car. Wow. Really held on to it.
Yeah,
Try to get another look here.
Looked like the 44 just moved up the backstretch, maybe to follow McQuiston, and he just pretty much doored the 23 there, and the 23 Miller just couldn't really control.
Yeah, they just joined each other, and that got Miller all kinds of loose. And ended up getting back into the 44.
Yeah, nothing really Miller could do there. The 44 just trying to follow the 93, and he just followed him right into another car. Unfortunate for the 23 and Hensley, but a great save by Hensley.
Still continuing on here, that broke up quite a bit of the midfield. Looking back, I was trying to see the battles that we were looking at before. At Will Roberts, Robert Gaba. Trying to get back close to each other. The 8, what we're looking at, he's dropped all the way back to 10th. He easily got passed by Chad Simpson and Bresci. Speaking of which, Simpson back to the inside. This 24 definitely starting to hurt now.
Yeah, just like we said earlier, you can see which ones have conserved their tires and which ones are ailing. A lot of these guys might have to short pit to avoid a right front tire.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Yeah, the tire failure is definitely a factor for these guys. We're looking at just about halfway through a fuel run. These guys can do about 55 laps on a tank. So just about eclipsing that here as we're going to 25, 26 laps into this run.
So had a bit of a battle there, brewing for 4th. Case Lakatos just got passed by Hayden Pastorius for the 4th position as they came up. See, Johnson came up on some lap traffic. They're lapping 16 of Jared Dixon now in the 3.
Yeah, and for Brian Chambliss, he's gotten past the 5 of Colin Fambro, while Johnson's completely checked out away from these drivers.
That little incident just seemed to spread out pretty much everyone. Not much battling going on right now.
Yeah, as you see, Aiden Pistorius and Lakatos work past Jared Dixon, who Dixon catches a bit of the wall in turn 1, trying to get out of the way.
That's not what happened to him. He's had right front damage for a little bit now.
Looking back at Will Roberts and Robert Gaba duking out for position here.
Someone's got a bit of internet issues right now. I don't know. Somewhere in between Welker and Riley Thompson, someone's blinking bad, but I can't make out who.
Yeah. Might be Casey Shue. I think it's Casey Shue, I want to say. He's currently blinking our timing and scoring.
It's back in 23rd. Not quite sure. Ooh, the 16 at the wall in front of Bresci down the straightaway. He's really struggling.
Yeah, and again, this we're talking about, needing new tires on your machine. Dixon might potentially want to come down to pit road, just get some new tires on that car. He's struggling at the moment.
He's not struggling. That 28 machine, he's The gap isn't going too much. Speaking of the gap, it's back to Fambro now. The 5 got back by Chambliss, as it's about only a couple hundred slower than Johnston, but Johnston's starting to open up that gap about a second and a half now.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on this battle here as it's clearly switching back and forth between these guys. One lap it's Fambro, one lap it's Chambliss in front. Duke it out for second.
Fambro, a little bit of a gap back to Chambliss now. He's trying to solidify himself into P2 as Chambliss just following him for now. Pistorius up the 4th, maybe trying to get to the top 3. Lakatos comfortably in 5th.
Just looking at Riley Thompson, he gets on by Michael Stroll. Stroll continuing his fall back into 12th. And actually for Riley Thompson, he'd been beginning a climb forward last time. Looking at him, I think he was in 16th, now currently up into 11th. So really starting to recover nicely from his 24th place starting position.
Definitely the biggest move of a race, up 12 spots. Randy Bader Jr., who started dead last, up to 18th, 11 spots. But Thompson definitely about to get charged to this field. He might need a caution to get into the top 5.
Oh, as Jared Dixon gets the piece of wall again into turn 1, he's potentially looking like he might be the caution. With the way he's driving at the moment, just really driving a damaged machine, having trouble getting through the corners.
I thought I heard someone spinning. I think the 32 of Mike Hurley might have went around. He's got some damage coming in the pit road. I thought I heard skidding tires.
Looks like for Hurley, this might potentially be day over. We'll see if he gets back out on the track, but starting 19th, currently running in 25th. Actually, just make that 26th as he just got passed by Jared Dixon as he pulls into pit stall.
Yeah, he kind of hit the wall at a 2, and he was just kind of drifting all over the place until the turn 3. He made a similar save that Hensley did earlier. He was able to catch it, no yellow, but that machine's definitely destroyed.
Absolutely, and looking still at the battle for second place as it's kind of starting to subside as Fambro and Chambliss, that gap between them slowly expanding, but neither of these drivers catching up to our leader Nick Johnson. That gap now starting to expand slowly but surely, closer to 2 seconds.
I'm seeing Hayden Pistorius get a little bit closer to the back bumper of Chambliss. You might see a battle for 3rd by the end of this whole green flag fuel run here. And then we see Will Roberts and Robert Gaba, also the 46 of Chad Simpson, pretty close together.
Yeah, battle brewing now for 6th place here as Roberts is trying to play the defensive here as he right on board with Robert Gaba in the 75.
Surprisingly, they're not all the way on that blue line down there. They're kind of giving a little bit of room over there.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that might be the fact that they just can't physically maintain the cars down there anymore. They're running a second and a half off of their pace or off their fastest times, which were at the beginning of the run. So tire fall definitely starting to play a factor as we get into the later parts of this run. We're looking at guys pitting in about 20 laps time.
That 8 machine Stroll might be pitting less than that. He's falling back to Mitch Welker now. He's going to fall back to the 13th position.
Nothing he can do, and looking at his lap times, we'll pull it up here. For Stroll, he's running almost 2 seconds off of his pace, while guys like Welker are only running about a second and a half, a little bit more. So definitely that 8 car struggling, continually falling down the order.
Yeah, if anyone's going to blow a tire, it's probably going to be that 8 machine. Meanwhile, for the 7th position, it looks like Gaba's going for it on Will Roberts. Now they're side by side into turn 1.
Yeah, side by side indeed down into turn 1. Gaba going to slide up the hill just a little bit as Roberts tries to defend by getting a nice run off of turn 2. Not really going to be enough here as Gaba potentially going to inch his way on by into turn 3. Not quite clear. Will Roberts gets a great run through the middle of the corner. Gaba going to slide up the hill off of turn 4. Gets the wall hard for both himself and Robertson. Here comes Chad Simpson up the inside.
Thank you very much, Chad Simpson.
Yeah, he's going to get on by him, and here comes Casey Lakatos as he's drifted on back in the 5th place spot.
He might have walled it. He might have damage. It looks like he hit the wall or something. He was way up the field, I thought.
Casey Lakatos?
I thought he was farther up. He's just got passed by Chad Simpson there. I'm trying to see if he has right side damage. Yes, he does.
Yeah,
he must have walled it at some point.
Yeah, he also ran a pretty slow lap the lap prior, so he's starting to struggle now. There you see Gaba working to the inside as he's got his stuff collected. We'll get on by Lakatos. Will Roberts looking to do the same. Nope, Lakatos is going to come on down, try to clear him.
Well, Roberts is going to drive it right into turn 1. Looks like Lakatos is also struggling with that car now as Roberts is going to try to pass him. Not quite. Licata's going to get a good run out of 2.
Yeah, gonna try to get a good run in the drag race down the back straightaway for both these drivers, and Robert's gonna send it down into turn 3, but is it gonna hurt his mid-quarter speed, or apparently not? He's gonna muscle his way past 50 and secure that 7th place spot.
Moving up a couple positions there. Meanwhile, Riley Thompson has made his way into the top 10, up 14 spots now by Thomas Bresci. Actually, it's for P9 now, actually, apparently.
Yeah, and a really solid run for Thompson in that 58 machine. Was looking like a slouch earlier on, but has been just saved his tires extremely well compared to everyone else in the field, and just taking off drivers now fairly easily.
Doing it with ease, he might be able to get a couple more position, maybe one more position by the end of this run, but the pit stops are coming up soon.
Yeah, he's running almost a tenth faster than the next 3 cars ahead of him, up to Gaba, which is that 3rd car on your screen. It's just coming out of turn 2. So he might catch them by the time these guys have to come down to pit road.
He might catch Licata's before any of them.
Take a quick look back at our leaders. Nick Johnson gap just now eclipsing 2 seconds, so not the biggest gap we've seen this 28 car have, but still looking like usual. Once his car gets the lead, he typically stays there unless something happens to him.
10th faster than Fambro, 2/10 faster than Chambliss, 3/10 faster than Pistorius.
And speaking of which, Pistorius trying to get back to the 25 car. Battle potentially bring 3rd.
It's all a matter of who pits first. That will set everything off.
And riding on board with Pistorius as he's coming out of turn 4, a big lift off the corner for him. I'm curious if we hear him do that anywhere else. And this is like you were saying, Connor, earlier about just the car getting too tight.
Yeah, it's probably becoming a big problem now, especially for obviously guys like the 8 and the 50 who completely wore them off. The guys with damage are going to be completely ailing at the end of this run. It's going to be a rough one if they don't pit soon enough.
Was able to keep full throttle this time by, I think, because he got a better run through the corner. Looking on in behind, drivers side by side. Oh, this is Filarski going a lap down to a few drivers in the midfield. It's actually 3 laps down for Calvin Filarski, so not a good run at the moment for him.
Just looking at some of the retirements here, a couple more. Dolger, of course, he couldn't continue. David Mott Jr. retired. Mike Hurley, I believe, we saw him park it. And
yep.
I think Jared Dixon, I thought he got pulled off the track. I'm not sure, but he's retired as well.
Yeah, not a good day for him. Casey Shue down on pit road in the Ford machine, getting service to his car. One of the first drivers you've seen come on down, not one of the leaders necessarily. I think he was already a lap down. But now I think we're definitely opening up the window where we're going to start to see drivers making their way on down to pit road. And do we do? Michael Stroll
Evan
down.
Adams. Yeah, Evan Adams, Randy Bader Jr., who at the back of the pack came out of the pits a lap ago. Actually, Bader's pacing in 3 and 4 kind of slowly. Not sure what happened there, but those guys did come to pit road. It's really going to be whoever's in the top 10 pits first is really going to set everything off.
Yeah, indeed. And so Michael Stroll coming on down, not too surprised from that. We saw him dropping like a rock through the field, has burned up his stuff way too early. Randy Bader Jr. making his way on down from 21st to his pit stall.
See, Christian Gritzko from 16th, he's into the pits now. We're seeing some of the people at the back starting to pit.
Looking at all of our leaders coming through turns 3 and 4 now, waiting for a few of them to start peeling off, bringing the rest on down. Looks like they're going to continue on, as we're just getting around to 100 laps to go at lap 67.
Yep, still a long way to go. So it looks like Pistorius just caught Chambliss. He's going to the inside into 3 maybe, not quite.
Doesn't quite look like it, but definitely riding him behind. We were talking about him catching up to the 25 here. Looking like that car is a lot more maneuverable than over the 25.
Chambliss not giving him much room in the trial to do anything, though. He's going to have to wait out of turn 2 to make the move.
Riding right in behind, bumper to bumper between both these guys. Going to try to get a better run off the corner. Here comes Pistorius, going to have a look on the back straightaway. A little bit of side drive here as they go side by side into 3.
Yeah, he should get him here unless Chambliss really wants to fight him for the extra position on track before they do come into the pits, but he isn't going to give it to him easily. He's going to fight back on that outside, dead even at the line.
Still seeing these drivers continue on, I imagine. All these drivers trying to hit their numbers before they come on down to pit road.
Got a good race for 9th going. Case Lakatos, Travis McQuiston going to get by him here. And here comes a 17 of David Cobb, who is on fresh tires as he just blew by those two.
I was going to say, I would hope he's on fresh tires. He just absolutely blew on by. And again, this is really seeing...
Here.
Yeah. For sure, you just see the difference there with the fresh rubber compared to the older tires that these guys are running on.
Yeah, we're going to... Let's see. We're really going to figure out... I'm excited to see. Well, not excited to see because that would be bad. But I'm surprised there haven't been more blowing tires. A lot of people have been pushing the boundary.
Yeah, looking at there, you see Steve Herring in the 98 car. He comes up onto the track. Out of pit road. He's got fresh tires on his machine. But yeah, I am a bit surprised we haven't seen more tires blown. We might see it if anyone decides to push, especially stay out. As long as they can, hoping for a caution. You might not want to be the caution. And front runners, we just seen our first one come in. Chad Simpson in the 46 going to pull it on to pit road.
This should bring everyone else up front in the next 2 or 3 laps. If not, you're going to give the 46 the lead here. We'll see what Johnston does. It's a lot of time to gain by undercutting here. Looks like Johnston's going to stay out, though.
Yep, he is.
Anyone else?
Same thing with Fambro. Hayden Pistorius coming out of turn 4. As well as 25. No one else gonna come on down.
And we'll see how that works out for the 28th. I feel like if you don't react, he's gonna get a pretty decent lead, and the tire difference isn't gonna be as big. Obviously, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see here. I think these guys might be worried on fuel. They might be just trying to run it out as much as they can to assure they're good on fuel. Remember, we're gonna have greenway checkers as time permits, so some guys might be trying to line it up so that way, if a caution does come out in that final run, they have enough gas at the end of the race.
Here comes Gabba. Gabba's coming down this time.
Gabba, a little bit sideways on entry. I see Mitch Welker in behind. He's also gonna pull on out. Whoa! He gets sideways.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of people coming in this time. Joel Holloway, who's actually made it up to 11th, 9 spots up. Good run for him. He's down into the pits. I'd assume the next 2 laps now, the leaders will come in. They've got to react soon.
Yeah, Bresci rolling out into the track. He's done with his service. See where he lines up. He'll be looking like the driver best to benefit from coming in early.
Now here comes Pistorius from 3rd. He's going to come into the pits with Wilco behind.
So now really in the midst of green flag pit stops here. As he drives cushion, come on down. Johnson on the back straightaway, working into turns 3 and 4. Need to see if he comes on down this time.
Yep. Here it comes.
Will surrender the lead potentially to Colin Fambro. No, Colin Fambro going to come in. Ryan Chambliss going to stay out.
The pits there.
Ryan Chambliss in the 25. He's going to take the lead of this race and lead a lap while Nick Johnson and Fambro service their cars.
Let's see what happens with Johnston. I think he was 50 at the line on speed. Wonder if he got a speeding penalty. He really tried to get a good entrance to make up for the time he lost to the 46.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see here. If he did give up that time, it's gonna cost him the lead and then some. If he does get a pit road speeding penalty. And both these cars here, Jack's gonna drop potentially. Does he get away?
No, doesn't.
Oh no!
Wow, he did speed. That's big.
And a big mistake from the 28 car is gonna cost him the lead of this race and then some. As I was saying earlier, I was kind of doubting, saying that typically you can get away with quite a bit on pit road from what I've seen. I thought drivers were closer to getting a penalty, and they didn't. But oh, that's gonna hurt.
He's still in his stall too. Still hasn't left. I wonder if he's throwing it. I wouldn't expect that to happen.
No, he wouldn't throw. I can imagine him throwing him the towel. He's fighting for a championship here. Something else must have happened. Oh, now he's away.
There he goes.
55 seconds down on pit road. Oh, that's...
Our speeding penalty's not big. It wasn't unsafe for anything anyway. It's impossible to be an unsafe entrance.
Unless he got an excessive speeding penalty. I don't know if that holds you longer or makes you come back down a second time, but... Whoa! Bresci trying to make a move.
Bresci's trying to get under cars that are on older tires now. Speaking of older tires, still got a couple guys staying out. I believe Casey Lakatos has the lead now. Still a couple of drivers to come into the pits still.
Yeah, and this is also the danger too, and this is what Johnson's kind of hoping, potentially caution coming out, you can kind of reset and get back on strategy, or potentially even just back on the lead lap with everyone else after a massive penalty to him. Really going to knock him down. Now, that's just effectively going to give the lead of this race to Colin Fanro, but actually the driver who is looking to inherit the lead will be the 46 of Chad Simpson from coming in fairly early.
It's got maybe about 2.5 to 3 seconds to Fanbro. Fanbro on the couple laps newer tires, but I think the 46 is going to definitely get a gain out of this. I think he was maybe 6th before all the pit stops started, so I think it was a great strategy for him. And yeah, that's shocking. That changes the whole complexion of the race now with Johnston out.
Yeah, that's really big. I mean, because coming into this race, drivers were given bonus points based on their finishing position in the regular season. Johnson inherited 50, and then it went in 5-point increments all the way back to 10th place. So he had quite a few points gap over guys like Thomas Bresci, McQuistion, Pistorius, and Welker. He kind of just threw that all out the window here with that mistake, because he's all the way back in 20th. A lap down.
Are there still halfway points? I don't remember.
There are halfway points.
Yeah, so unless something crazy happens, some sort of yellow, he's thrown a lot of points away. That gap is just gone after only one race. That's big.
Yeah, really is. And we're coming up on halfway here. I'm trying to do the mental math. I don't know if Connor, if you could do it for me.
What lap it is?
Yeah, half of
83 or 84. I don't know.
Okay.
It's not really a halfway.
Close enough. I think 84. I think they go with the higher amount. The first time through.
I think there was about maybe 2 drivers still out there. Jeremy Miller might have been actually the only one still on the old tires. He comes into pit road now.
So he's going to surrender.
Did David call pit early?
What's that?
David Cobb. He's up into what is it? He's going to rotate out to 3rd or 4th.
Oh yeah, he's off sequence. He came in 25 laps ago, so he's very off sequence compared to a lot of these other drivers. Same situation with Michael Stroll, but we saw he came in early because his tires were completely shot. So he's also on a different strategy compared to some of these other guys. So looking at Chad Simpson here, our leader, like 2.5 seconds on Colin Fanbo, and now I think we definitely, with the 28 of the picture, we got a race on our hands.
Yeah, and the 28's also got a race for the lucky dog. You'll see. I'm trying to see where the leader is, but
he's fighting for that position with the 23 at the moment. That's currently the first car lap down, and Nick Johnson working through turns 1 and 2 as Jeremy Miller is coming onto the back straightaway. So both those drivers are going to be fighting for that spot here, as we see potentially side by side here going to turn 3. He's going to just blow on by turn 3.
I'm trying to wonder, are they, let's see, 23 is going to have newer tires as well. Is that the race for Lucky Dog? I can't tell, but I think there's other people who are going to go a lap down soon, like the 92 of Christopher Matthews, who's right about a second in front of a leader. The leader's out of turn 2, Chad Simpson, now he's down into turn 3, and the 28's out of turn 2. So he can see, he maybe not be able to see him, but he's close enough where the guys who are getting a lap now, he might be able to get to him with the amount of pace he has. But it's going to be tight.
It really is going to be tight, and especially if caution does come out when he's not the lucky dog. Ooh, that's really going to hurt. So,
yeah, that would essentially be race over.
Yeah, this is he got put in a really bad spot. And again, if you're going for a championship, you can't afford to make these mistakes. He ran a great season so far, 5 wins to his name in 12 rounds. But, you know, just races like this could potentially throw it away. And, you know, drivers that he's competing with in the championship, I'm trying to check. So this is going to be looking good for Colin Framble. He'll be able to make up a huge amount of points. He's currently 40 points back to Nick Johnston. So this will be a good points haul for him if he finishes in 2nd. Chad Simpson, currently 25 points back. He's going to also inherit quite a few points with a race win. So this is going to close the championship up quite a bit.
The 2 drivers that needed to make points up are 1-2 right now. And Fambro's probably going to get the lead by the end of this run, 3/10 faster than Simpson that lap. He didn't even really push that much. Maybe he got intimidated by the 46 and the jump he was going to get. Like I said, he really tried to gain a lot of time on the entry to pit road, and I really don't think he needed to.
And this battle for the lucky dog is not over yet. Miller's caught back up to the 28, and again, he has fresher tires by 6 laps. That's not insignificant from what we've seen. And he's getting really close to the 28 through turns 1 and 2, trying to get that spot back.
Even with the damage he had from the incident down the backstretch, he still got some speed, albeit with new tires, but it's a big battle. I assume it would be a personal win for him if he could get by the fastest guy on the track.
Oh, and they're also getting past the 17 David Kalb, currently running in 4th. They're going to blow on by him to the inside through the quad oval.
I wonder how that strategy is going to work for him.
Yeah, I really am curious. Yeah, I'm curious indeed. I feel like he's going to be too off sequence to really fight. He might
here comes Miller.
Yeah, up the inside, out of turn 2. Not going to be enough, I think. When he might get clear here, might have another chance to dive into 3.
Tell you what, it doesn't matter right now. Anyways, the 92 was lapped, so this is the battle for the second car lap down. They're going to have to chase the 92 of Christopher Matthews.
And there you see Chad Simpson drive off there. And there's the gap between Nick Johnston trying to catch back up to Matthews by about a quarter of a lap behind. So he's got some pace to make up, catch that 92. And even then, here's Steve Herring and here's Chad Simpson. So Simpson trying to put another car lap down. Oh, man.
So Case Licata's back to 16th. I wonder what happened to him. I don't think he was that far back.
He came in really late. I think he has...
He did, you're right.
Yeah, he has one of the freshest tires of the main sequence of guys that came down pit road. So he's trying to make up spots now here with some fresher rubber.
Same with the 23. It's why the 23's a lap down. He waited a bit too long. We got the battle for the lead starting to heat up a little bit. It shouldn't be that much of a battle. The 5 has much newer tires than Chad Simpson. Here he comes.
Here he comes. This is essentially boiling down to a battle of strategy here, because Simpson's actually able to hold on for quite a bit, a lot longer than I would have thought. And again, Fambro still hasn't got around, so we'll see if the battle does brew between these guys as we come to the completion of this lap. This will be for halfway points.
I guess it should be. Right now, rounding out the top 10's Mitch Welker in the 76, trying to see if there's any sort of battle for the final points. No, Welker's all on his own, but there still is a battle for the second car lap down. Miller's still hounding the 28, but he just can't find a way by.
Oh, coming out of turn 4, it's going to be almost side by side at the line, barely, as we get to halfway. So it's going to be 10 points to Chad Simpson's name. Colin Farrell's going to get 9 points, and if he was just a lap earlier, he would have potentially gotten those points, as he easily blows on by the 46.
Big points for the 9 of Pistorius as well, as these top 3 are really separated from the rest of the field. Obviously, the top 2 are close together. Pistorius 3 seconds back, then it's all 8. Then it's 5 more seconds back to Brian Chambliss, who's, I believe, maybe battling with Riley Thompson. They're kind of close.
Yeah, and even we didn't talk about him, Pistorius. Pistorius is running 4th in the points. He's 15 behind Nick Johnston, so he actually might inherit the points lead coming out of tonight. Looking at Bresci running quite a few positions in behind Hayden Pistorius, and also especially with the halfway points too. Pistorius is probably going to get a leg up on Bresci, who's only 5 points in behind Nick Johnston. So I think either Bresci or Pistorius might inherit the points lead. We'll have to see coming out of this round. But man, championship fight already getting really close and really interesting. Just after the opening round, and trying to check back on Nick Johnston up into 19th. He's still got that 23 on his tail.
Yeah, Miller's hounding him. Johnson really chopped him in the second dogleg in the try over there, and they're not too far up the road. Christopher Matthews, he's coming out of 2 right now. They're about 7 to 6 tenths faster than him, so it's all a matter of who gets by him first. But also at the end of it, Colin Fambro is only about maybe a second or 2 behind Evan Adams. No, Evan Adams is already left down, actually. Steve Herring's at the line. He's a couple seconds. Actually, a decent gap up to the next car to lap in Herring, but it's still a race to the 92 at the moment.
Yeah, and how about for Colin Fambro too? I'm just looking at his stats. He's only got 1 top 5 and 1 top 10 this entire season, and that's out of 12. He started every single round, so he's looking at potential race win there.
I think Miller almost got in the back of Johnston. I think he's getting frustrated at this point.
Right, I'm back, right on board the 28 car as Miller's trying to get back in. You can tell just by the way he's throwing it into turn 3. He wants that spot. Oh, he's going to get a run out of turn 4. Have a look potentially up the inside. Johnson going to slam the door yet again.
There's still AstroTurf down there. You're going to block all the way to the grass. See, Miller's trying to get a higher entry to get the run off the turn, but he just can't seem to get the run he wants. He hit the apron there, and here comes the 92 coming back to him.
And this will put them, for a little bit, it'll put them back in the lucky dog spot if they get on by the 92, which they should be able to. They got fresher tires. Here they go to the inside, but looking back at Steve Herring, he's just about to get passed by Colin Fambro in behind a little bit, about a corner behind the 98 car.
Yeah, it seems like Miller's better than him in 3 and 4, but he just can't find the right line in 1 and 2. He's always going to be outside into turn 1. He might have a decent run down the backstretch here, trying to throw it up the inside, trying to do anything he can. But I think in a couple of laps, Johnson's going to start pulling away.
Absolutely, here, getting really close between these guys again. They know what they're fighting for here, that lucky dog spot. And they're currently sitting in it here, although, again, not for too long. So I think for Johnson, he's kind of hoping and praying to the racing gods that a caution comes out, because then he can finally get back into this race.
But at the same time, there's not much racing going on. Battle for 10th with McQuiston and David Kolb, but Kolb on older tires. McQuiston's going to blow by. Will Roberts might get by the 17, down into 3.
Ooh.
All over the back bumper, pretty close there. But I think that's the closest battle on track right now. Kolb's starting to drop here.
Yeah, you're pretty much right about that. Actually, the closest battle will technically be between the 28 and the 23. But besides them, yeah, this was the closest battle on the track. Another close battle that's actually brewing is between the 8 and the 24. 7th place, Michael Stroll. 8th place, Thomas Bresci. Bresci trying to take that spot away. And I'm curious if Stroll learned anything from the first run and saved his rubber a little bit better. There's about a 7-lap tire difference than with the 28. With the advantage, they're just even going to pull to the inside of the 8. Gonna blow on by.
Strategy might work for Stroll. He's got a decent gap back to everyone else where he was running, so he might not drop back all the way to where he was. We'll see here. Been a good run so far, just gotta learn a little bit more about these tires.
Yeah, you see Will Roberts, he blows on by Travis McQuiston in the 93. Roberts up inside the top 10. Then you're gonna look back at these two guys dueling. Here comes the 23 to the inside of Johnson.
There it is.
And gonna blow on by. Can he hold it though? He's gonna wash up
crossover.
But
Gotta block the AstroTurf. 28's gonna do everything he can to get under a big block there. There it is. Couldn't block him too long. Johnson's gonna get it back.
Oh! Miller in the wall hard on entry. Wow.
Wow. That might do him in there.
Oh, he's gonna give a bumper.
Son of a
These guys are not done with each other just yet. A dogfight brewing again for the lucky dog spot. This is a very aggressive battle for 18th.
That might be all the 23 has. He really hit the wall hard. And
I don't know. He's coming back.
Own doing.
He's coming back here on exit pretty strong. He had to let off again, but
he was in ORL. He should have known how to block the AstroTurf.
I was surprised he didn't block as hard as he did. He could have definitely blocked a lot harder.
Yeah. Oh. Kevin Adams in the wall. Yep. Lets him by, but yeah, I think that's all it is. He's dropping back now.
So Johnson.
Meanwhile, Fambro about a second behind Steve Herring.
Yeah, there you see the gap on screen right there between these two drivers. Johnson settled the score with one driver, however, he needs a caution coming in about the next 5 to 10 laps because Herring's about to go a lap down and take that spot away.
Casey Shoes coming back on track. I thought he retired, but he's been in his pit stall for a while. He's come back on track to complete a few more laps, trying to look for more battles around the track. See, Bresci hasn't pulled away from Michael Stroll. Mitch Welker, Will Roberts in 10th. He got by McQuiston. Not many close battles going on right now, except for we're really watching this 98 to get lapped here soon. And Chad Simpson, I thought he'd drop a couple more seconds behind. He's only 2 seconds behind, not dropping too hard to Fambro.
Yeah, and I'm really curious what this 46 is going to do as far as tire strategy is concerned. Is he going to do the same thing, pit early, get out ahead of the 5? And then, I guess at that point, maybe just hope a caution comes out, and then you can all come down pit road, and he would have an advantage with that. Or do you think he's just going to come in with the 5? What would you do if you were the 46?
I think he's going to have to undercut him by a few laps, maybe not as severely as he did on the first run, because obviously the big undercut, I think it's a huge success. Only 2 seconds off the lead. He was way farther behind on positions, I believe, so it would be interesting. Maybe he'll do the same thing again. It worked before. Maybe he can get an even bigger lead and be able to hold off the 5 as the tires even out. It'll be interesting to see. And speaking of the 5, he's gotten by the 98 of C. Herring, so now for Nick Johnson, it's a race to the 98.
Yeah, indeed. And it's not even going to be just for that. Here comes the 5. He's working on the 91 of Christian Grisco. Currently running in 16th, about to put him a lap down. So it's going to be 2 cars ahead of Johnston that are a lap down.
I believe Johnson's way faster than him, but it's all about timing. He has to make sure. Now he's praying that the caution doesn't come out. Everyone yelling at everyone to keep it straight in his head at this point.
Absolutely. And actually, we'll go quickly to the top. We'll take a look here. We'll give you an idea of where these guys are on the track. So here's Colin Fambro coming out of turn 4 now. And there's Nick Johnson just entering turn 3. So he's starting to catch back up to the 5. Oh, he's actually coming down pit road. Interesting. What? Actually, can he make it to the end on fuel? I think this is stretching it.
70 laps. I don't know.
That's a lot.
I was in a cup race and a fixed race today. We could barely. I don't know.
Yeah,
it might be close. I think we barely made it. We could have made it close to like 70 laps in the cup cars, and you're on the gas more in a cup car. I don't know. I think he's trying to throw a Hail Mary at this point. But if a yellow comes out now, the race is completely destroyed. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised. If anything, I thought if I'm in his position, I would just stay out, hope a caution comes out in the middle of pit stops, green flag pit stops, and he's out and away, gonna get 4 tires and fuel. Interesting call here from the 28 camp. We'll see how that plays out for him.
It's gonna be 3 down.
Yeah, he's dug himself a hole right now, so he's gotta hope that things play the way he's planning it to.
He's not even going to come out in fresh air either. He's got Bresci, the 92 again ahead of him, as well as the 8. So he's going to have to navigate some traffic here right as he comes out of the pits. The 8 really going to hold him up mid-corner.
And Johnson going to get on by. But 22nd places, I can't imagine that's where Nick Johnson pictured himself. I really want to take an interview with him. I'm not sure he's probably going to want to do an interview, but I just want to figure out what cost him so much time on pit road, because you typically expect the typical speeding, you get the 15 seconds, you have to sit in your box. That's all fine and dandy. That's not too terribly big, but he sat there for an extra 25 seconds. So I really am curious what he got bopped for, if anything, or if he had to adjust something that was going wrong with the system.
Yeah, maybe excessive speeding, or like not a mechanical problem, but a computer problem. I'm not sure. Whoa, Hensley almost got into a 91 there, but yeah, whatever it was, it's unfortunate that it happened. It was his race to lose, and just stuff happens sometimes. That's the way it can go sometimes, and like we said earlier, a lot of points lost.
Indeed. Looking at Hensley now as the next car ahead of Nick Johnston here, as you see the 46 of Chad Simpson going to pull a block. Oh, interesting. He's going to pull a block on a lap car.
Yeah, the 44 is on fresh tires. It came in maybe 6 laps ago. Hensley's really flying by these guys.
I guess Simpson wanted to make him work the hard way around, so Hensley will get around just with fresher tires.
We got a battle for the Lucky Dog Bruin, not with the 28 obviously now. Christian Gritzko and Steve Herring right next to each other. Also, David Kolb, actually, I believe, came down to the pits.
Yep.
He's on the pits right now, actually.
Yeah, this is where we saw him come in around earlier, so he should be almost good on the end. Again, he's also kind of in that range of pushing it. I think he's in a much better spot than Nick Johnston, but we'll have to see. You look at the battle for 14th place. This is the battle for the Lucky Dog with only 13 cars on the lead lap. It's actually about to be one less here as Casey Lakatos is in danger of going a lap down. There's Casey Lakatos, and here comes Fambro off of turn 2.
About half a straight away to the 5. He should be safe for a little bit, but he probably will have to come down for another pit stop soon. He should be well, actually, no, he is on the newer tires, but I think he's still getting caught, so I'm not quite sure. But David Kolb's coming out of the pits now, and now I believe he's in the Lucky Dog position after passing all those guys. Actually, no, he's 2 down. Excuse me.
Yeah, he's 2 laps down, so he's going to have to really push the limits to at least get 1 lap down if a caution does come out.
Evan Adams coming out of the pits as well. Pretty slowly.
Evan, not a good day for him. He's currently 4 laps down, so he's way out of the pecking order, just kind of running around. Back in 23rd for the 59 car, started back in 27th, so moved up some spots since the start.
See any other battles on the track Will Roberts, I believe, maybe a couple laps ago, he got around the 8. Michael Stroll back to 9th now, which is still better than where he was, for sure.
Yeah, I think
it's...
he definitely improved this run. I think he learned from his mistakes prior, just pushing that car way too hard. And it's starting to fall off significantly less, although he's got to deal now with Mitch Welker. Welker trying to catch back up to him. And Welker is a decent recovery. We saw him drop out of the order earlier on, and now moving himself back up into position.
You see how these drivers are starting to adapt to what the tire is asking of it. A little bit of different driving tactics. Oh, car in the wall. Well, Roberts hit the wall down the backstretch. Randy Bader Jr. on the apron. I think unrelated, but you can see how different the driving styles are at this point in the race. And another factor coming into that, the sun has gone down for sure. It is a night race.
Yep, absolutely, definitely in the thick of night here, approaching just under the last 60 laps of this race. Been a long one here for the third annual Fuel World 400 on Sim TV. So, and right behind, Welker gonna pull to the inside of the 8 battle for 9th place, going down into turn 3.
That looks like it's going to easily get the spot from Stroll. He might have sent it in too far. Stroll look for the crossover. He's looking. Don't think he can do it. But, yep, put that Mitch Welker machine into P9.
And just now starting to approach the point where we can see these guys make pit stops here. I think we're definitely within the window, the fuel window opening up for the last pit stop of the race. Do you think we're going to see these guys potentially wait as long as they can to come down to get fresh tires for the end of the run?
I expect to see the guys close to being lapped to a lap down stretch it as far as they can. I think it's all going to be like on the first couple of stops, whoever pits, especially in the top 3, they're only separated by 7 seconds. So say if Pistorius comes down into the pits, Simpson and Fambro are going to have to react pretty quick.
And going back to our top 3, looking at Chad Simpson, we were talking about him earlier, did a great job maintaining the gap. He's fallen back from 2 seconds when we were talking about that gap being pretty good, back to 4 seconds now and counting, so he's really starting to fall off the pace, running a little over a tenth slower a lap, so now it's starting to really hurt him, maintaining that pace. So I don't know, he's gonna have to come up with something for this last run to keep up with Fambro.
At the same time, he's doing a good job maintaining the gap to Pistorius, actually faster than Pistorius that lap, so he might be losing to the leader, but he might have a comfortable top 2 run if he plays the strategy correctly, and we'll see if he does any sort of undercut. I can imagine he might be getting a bit short on fuel here. We'll see what kind of strategy he might want to pull.
Yeah, absolutely. I am concerned. I am interested, though, to see if Simpson tries anything bold again, especially with what happened to Nick Johnston. There's a lot of points on the line for these drivers, and now is your best chance to try to pick those up, especially points for winning the race. So Simpson still sitting in second place, looking like you were saying, at a really comfortable job, as Hayden Pistorius is running a little bit slower than him, and Brian Chambliss, a lonely day for him. How about Riley Thompson up in 5th place?
Yeah, I guess he didn't need the yellow.
He did not need a yellow at all. A great run for the 58 machine.
24th to 5th, wow.
Yeah, great climb forward. And we've only had 1 caution today, so he really didn't need them at all.
Should have qualified, maybe.
I know, I was just about to say that if he qualified, he's probably thinking that to himself now, if he qualified, how much in a better spot he would be, potentially up there leading the race.
Yeah, who knows? As I was watching a couple laps ago, a lot of lap cars came in, the 91, the 98, 92 I believe came in, Jeremy Miller, another one who came in, a lot of cars a lap down came in, and that rotated Nick Johnston ahead of most of those guys, I believe.
Yeah, so Nick Johnston currently running in 16th. Again, I really doubt he can make it to the end on fuel. I've been wrong in the past. I'll see if I'm wrong again. Really stretching the limit here.
Yeah, he's stretching everything. The only thing he's not stretching, unfortunately, is his points lead, obviously.
Yeah, it really is. It's just going to be more work for... And the thing is, too, we don't have that many races in this chase. We only have 4 races. In fact, next week we're heading on to Auto Club, then to Phoenix, and then rounding out the season at Chicagoland. So he's only got 3 races to try to rebound from this. And again, with a very competitive field, he had a bit of a cushion coming into at least lean on, but now that's kind of gone away. And
the leader's in. Sorry to cut you off there.
Oh,
Famber's
no,
coming in early.
Famber coming in,
Chad Simpson's
and
following him.
Interesting call for the 46, so he's going to try to just match the 5 on pace. See how that plays out for him.
Hayden Pistorius stayed out. The 8 of Michael Stroll at the same time coming in. Brian Chambliss is also in. It seems like all the leaders are just coming in with each other. Yep, here comes Bresci down.
Whoa, Welker! Wow.
Come in. Wow. Yep, no strategy being played here. Everyone coming down here on lap 116. Here comes a 66 as well. I haven't talked about Joel Holloway that much. 20th to 11th, decent run for him.
Yeah, indeed. Really solid run for him, indeed. I'm actually kind of surprised how far up the order he was. It was really not a driver to talk about very much further down the order, but he's approached himself in 12th place. We'll get service to his car. Aiden Pistorius in the 9. Curious to see how long he's going to stay out. You see him just ripping past the 5 of Colin Fambro.
And trying to find out where this puts Johnson on the track. He's a lap down. I just don't know if he's ahead of the other guys who are a lap down.
He is not. He's behind a lot of drivers that are a lap down. Here comes Hayden Pistorius.
Yep.
Coming to get service to his machine. Riley Thompson easily going to pull it down on the apron way before pit road to make sure he gets slowed down in time. That'll potentially give the lead of this race to Will Robertson, the 39, who will stay out another lap.
He's in behind a couple of lap cars who I think are on fresh tires. Steve Herring and let's see, Evan Adams, who's a couple laps down still. David Cobb, who stayed out earlier. He came in earlier. He's up to 7th. We'll see how that shakes out by the end of this race.
And I'm seeing a lot of these guys pitting at around lap 50. I'm curious if we're going to actually even see someone try to stretch the fuel completely out here. Will Roberts is pretty much the only driver that can. He's the last driver we expect to come down pit road. Everyone else has more or less made their final stop of the race, or at least on this cycle.
I think everyone else at this point has came into the pits. I think everyone's last pit stop's already been made. And I don't know, maybe he's hoping for a yellow at this point. And I believe Will Roberts, because I have race control on, he's pitting this time.
Okay, so Will Roberts is going to surrender his lead here. After leading a few laps, he'll make a turn down into pit road. It's going to give Colin Fambro back the lead. There you see the gap between himself and Chad Simpson. It's a 4.6 second gap between first and second place.
Yeah, well, even tires now for the 5 and 46. We'll see if Chad Simpson, he was pretty fast at the end of a very first long run before he did do that undercut. We'll see what he can do on even tires now. I wonder. It's going to be probably down just to these two. Pistorius is back a couple seconds. Lap pressure tires, I don't think that'll make a difference for Pistorius, and Chambliss as well. I believe did the same strategy. No, he came down with the leaders.
Yeah, and we're watching here again the 3rd annual Fuel World 400 from Charlotte Motor Speedway, coming down to the last 40 some odd laps in this event here with Colin Fambro, your leader. And a great job for Colin Fambro. He's been up. I don't think we've seen him drop outside the top 3 all night long, except under green flag pit stops, if I'm mistaken.
Yeah, he's been up front all day long, as well as Chambliss. He's been pretty much top 5 the whole race. Great runs all around for both of those guys. Nick Johnston could have been in the same boat, just didn't go his way. And speaking of Johnston, he might be on the lead lap.
He is on the lead lap. Okay, so now I see what he was trying to do. I think he pitted early, used the fresh tires to advantage to drive his way back onto the lead lap, and I think he's hoping at this point, I think this is really his only hope at this point, is for a caution to come out, because A, he's going to just drop back, I think, sheerly on older tires, because Colin Fambro is ripping through the field pretty fast. He's only about 5 seconds up the road from Colin Fambro. And 2, again, I think he still needs to make his final stop. I think he's too short on gas, but I think this is the Hail Mary we're expecting from the 28. Just trying to hope that a caution comes out and hope he can get back in the lead lap.
And he just got passed by McQuiston for P11. He ran a 31.7. The 5 ran a 30.7, a second slower. He needs it to come out in the next 3 laps to have any sort of chance.
He does, and there you see Colin Fambro coming out of turn 2 now, and then Nick Johnson just a straightaway ahead, and that gap is closing at a significant rate. You're looking at Will Roberts. He's the next car to go a lap down, currently running in 14th.
Yeah, he lost some ground doing what he did.
Yeah, I think he might actually potentially be able to maintain the gap ahead of Fambro just by coming in so late.
He was 2/10 slower that time.
Okay, maybe not, but he might.
For Stroll.
Yeah.
But the gap, let me try to see the gap back to Simpson. Simpson was about a 10th faster than the 5 machine that time.
Now, a tenth is not going to cut. He needs to start taking out 2 to 3 tenths. And he this 46 kind of boxed in a hole. I mean, he could have tried to come in early, but I think it would have been the same situation we saw earlier in the race where he was ahead for pretty much the first half of the run and then drifted on back the second half as Fambro got past with fresher rubbers. So it wasn't a whole lot the 46 could do. Granted, if nothing else, he's going to get a really solid second place finish.
Yeah, anything can happen. Still taking some time out of that lead as he's I don't know if he said he's on his own. 7 seconds back to Pistorius, and really no competition for that. The only thing that might help him is the lap traffic that Fambro's going to come up on. Not just the 28 of Johnson, but also Randy Bader Jr. and Calvin Filarski. They're 4 laps down, but we'll see if they get out of the way along with Stroll. And he's not really getting to Will Roberts yet, so we'll see how much of a fight those two put up.
Yeah, Thomas Bradley, haven't really mentioned this driver's name a whole lot today. Has been having a decent run in just inside the top 10 in the later part of it. I just got past David Kolb for the 8th place spot. I also see him behind Mitch Welker. He's trying to catch up to that 17 car. And for Cal, I don't think the strategy's quite working out.
Yeah, I think he'll be a little bit lucky if he does finish inside the top 10, and I think he is pushing it on fuel, but I think he'll be able to make it. We'll find out here, but
I don't know.
He might get lapped by the end of this.
Yeah, I think he might be a little bit too far. I did some estimations earlier. I came out with 55 laps on a tank. So, and that was right before when guys are coming in. So he's looking at running 63 laps on a tank.
Tell you what, Fambro better hope this group of cars, at least most of them, get out of the way. He's coming up on a big group, including Nick Johnston. This is a bigger group than I thought it was.
Yeah, 5-car pack, a bunch of drivers on different laps.
You got 2 guys 4 laps down, the 2 and the 64, who I think should let him by easily in front of him, and then the other 3, the 2 almost got into him there, that was close, but then the next 3 ahead of him, they're racing on the lead lap, the 30-98, they gotta go, 28 on old tires. I don't know how much Johnson's really gonna be able to fight, but the 8 and 39 have no reason to let him. Yeah,
I don't think Johnson's gonna be able to fight at all. His tires are shot by comparison to the 5. They're just gonna work around the outside. This should be an easy move.
See if he makes him go around the outside. I don't think he's gonna make him. Here comes Fambro to the inside. That slowed Fambro up a decent bit there, but Chad Simpson didn't really close the gap as much as I thought he should have.
There goes Nick Johnston a lap down. However, he is the first car a lap down. Can he hold on to that? I don't think so, because if Fambro gets past Roberts in the 8 car of Michael Stroll, Johnston's not going to be able to catch back up to them.
And he's also got the 44 of Tyler Hensley up the road as well, who's on much older tires, and he's probably going to be the first one to get lapped soon, and that's going to be the end of a night for Johnston when that does happen. 44 much slow.
And you see the 44 going to potentially stay out of the way. I think he knows that he's on much older tires and a different strategy than some of these other guys. He's going to let the 8 and the 39 on by. Now staring at the 5 of Colin Fambro as he approaches in his mirror.
I think Johnston might be able to get by the 44. The 44 is pretty slow. We'll see here, but that'll be the fight for Johnston for now before he catches the 39 and 8. And Fambro's not really catching that much, so it might not happen, but we'll see.
Yeah, and again, with Fambro and, with Roberts and Stroll came in, I think, later, if I'm not mistaken, than our leader, Colin Fambro. Stroll came in the same lap as Fambro. Will Roberts came in 5 laps earlier. And actually, speaking of Roberts, going to make a move to the inside. This is a battle for position amongst these drivers for 11th.
It's a big battle if anything does happen, especially if the leader gets by. It's going to probably be the battle for the lucky dog for the rest of the race, at least the tail end of the lead lap it's going to be. It's an important battle for these two. It's still a decent spot on track. P12 ain't too bad. P11.
Indeed it is, and as we come out at turn 4 here. One of the closest battles on the track. Another close battle starting to brew as well is between the 25 of Brian Chambliss and the 58 of Riley Thompson. And Thompson, we were looking at him already in 5th. He's not done yet. He's looking at 4th.
Yeah, he definitely has the fresher tires. Came in, I think, might have been on the same lap as Roberts, or maybe a lap after most of the leaders, but he's definitely on fresher tires and he's making them count right now. He's probably going to get Chambliss in the next lap or 2.
He got a decent run off of turn 2, trying to chase down that 25 machine. look back further up ahead to Colin Fambro, and by also looking at Will Robertson Stroll, just kind of keeping tabs on how this situation's working out. Oh, and I think for Nick Johnson, he's actually just come on down to pit road and has just gotten back off pit road. And again, this is what I was talking about, was not able to make it to the end. I think he figured that once he got passed by Fambro, it was pretty much game over.
But yellow doesn't come out in the next 5 laps, so he'll be slapping in the face.
Yeah.
And there goes Riley Thompson up to P4. Great charge for him, and he can still probably get the Pistorius by the end of this race.
Actually, take a quick look back at that. Pass for position. Heading down into turn 1. Got a great run to the inside of the 25. Pretty much textbook pass for the 58.
Looked pretty simple there. The newer tires really helping him there. And now he's got a charge, maybe to get up to Pistorius, who's going through some loud traffic of his own now, trying to get around the 50 of... Sorry, was it the 50? Yes, it was.
Yep.
Casey Lakatos got by him there.
Yeah,
Here comes Johnston.
looking at a battle between Will Roberts and the 17, David Kalb. Kalb drops in behind. Now he's trying to hold off the 8 of Michael Stroll. Stroll going to easily work to his inside.
7 Adams let the 5 go by there now, and now they're side by side ahead of them, but I think the 17 is going to get cleared pretty easily here, and he should go to be high line for Fambro. He's much older tires. Ooh, not right away.
Yeah, made him work for a little bit as Fambro goes to his inside, so I'll put the 17 a lap down.
Give him a little bit of a scare.
Looking also at Jeremy Miller and Steve Herring fighting in a close fight for 17th. Not sure who's the attacker, who's the car being passed. It actually looks like Miller was the one being passed. Herring works his inside. Miller gets passed for 17th position.
Right behind them, a battle on the lead lap. A little bit of a battle. Mitch Welker just ahead of Travis McQuiston. That's for the 8th position. This is only a couple seconds, maybe 7 seconds up the road from the leader.
Yeah, these guys also looking at potentially going a lap down. Yeah, they're only about 5 to 6 seconds up the road from our leader, Colin Fambro. You see him entering turn 3 now.
We'll see how long they fight. Doesn't seem like the Fambro is going to get to these two. He's not fat. Tire difference just isn't there, obviously. I think he's just going to have to ride behind him. No harm, no foul.
Yeah,
as long as they don't mess up to him, it shouldn't really hurt him.
Yeah, and especially at this rate, too, considering the fact that essentially Nick Johnson, he's effectively out of this race 2 laps down. He's not going to really get anything back. He's got to get really lucky. But as we get to 27 laps to go next time by, looking at, he can give up quite a bit of time. That gap between himself and Chad Simpson has not really fallen this run. It's maintained around 4.6 seconds, with neither driver really getting a 1-up on each other.
Yeah, Simpson, I thought he might try maybe something different, but pretty much everyone came in with the leader, and it doesn't seem like he's making enough of a difference on the same tires, so just couldn't really pull the strategy together there. He made up a decent amount of time with the first undercut. I was kind of surprised he didn't try it again, but it might have been the same result.
Yeah, and actually, David Kalb, he's come down onto pit road, and so was not able to make it to the end of this race, so he's going to drop down the order quite a bit. Also, Tyler Hensley down on pit road as well. He'll get off and away, a 2-tire stop for him.
I assume the leaders can make it on fuel. It shouldn't be too close, close at all.
They should definitely be able to make it to the end on fuel. I think with Calvin Johnson, they came in significantly earlier.
Yeah. The leaders really only have to go like 50 laps.
Which, again, not a whole lot of change up at the front. Looking at McQuiston catching back up to the 76 of Welker here. This is a battle going on for 8th, and McQuiston has driven down the 76.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle to look at. Decent finish on the line here. They've pretty much been where they started the whole race. McQuiston only up 1 spot. Same for Welker. They started 9th and 10th on the same road, and they find themselves together at the end of this one.
Coming out of turn 4 here, getting past a lap car of Wilco on the 62 car. Gonna pull off to the outside, stay out of the battle.
I see another battle forming. Maybe not much of a battle. Bressy's back in 7th still, and I'm kind of surprised, a little bit surprised by this run by Gab. I thought he'd drop a little more, but he's strong in P6.
Indeed he is, but looking back at McQuistion and Welker, still really close between them. I'm curious where McQuistion's going to make his move all over the back of that 76.
He's looking in the AstroTurf. He's going to go low into turn 1 here. Looks like Welker's going to give him the room.
Ooh.
Maybe not too much.
Yeah, I think Welker was only gave him as much room as he needed. Going to go get really close to the wall off of turn 2. Drag race down the back straightaway, and I think with him getting so wide, it killed his momentum. Going to allow the 93 to get on by.
And twisting up the track a little bit. Maybe Welker trying a bit of a crossover. I don't think he's going to have the run to do it. Put McQuiston up to P8.
Yeah, looking up at it, you were talking about Robert Gaba and Bresci. Bresci up in his 7th place trying to chase down that 75 car. Hasn't really made a whole lot of inroads. In fact, he's only 1,000th of a second faster on the last lap alone.
I'll get him. I think he needs to maybe do 2 1,000ths.
Yeah, I was gonna say he'll get there next month at that rate. 1,000 faster a lap.
Yeah, I don't think there's barely a month left in the season, so let's see. Is he any faster? No, he's more thousand slower. Come on, Bresci.
Yeah, actually, it's showing he was half a tenth faster.
Other way around. Trying to look at some other battles. Trying to see if Riley Thompson's catching up to Pastorius. Not as much as I thought. I don't think you'll get to him by the end.
Yeah, I definitely don't think so, but still a solid run for the 58. Have not talked a lot about him, but he's been very quietly, very stealthily moving his way up through the field, up in a 4th place. Probably want to catch an interview with him because he's had a really quiet and strong night in that machine.
There's a lot of guys with quiet and strong nights, especially Gaba. I was just looking at the, there's a 64 coming off of pit road. Nick Johnson was able to get by the leader of Fambro, so he's only back to 1 lap down. He might be able to get back into the top 15 by the end of this one. We'll see.
Yeah,
he's going to have to really charge hard, but he's got the tires to do it. Almost into the back of the 8th there, though.
Yeah, almost got himself involved in an incident there. That's the last thing he needs. And actually, yeah, so he just got on by Colin Fambro. Colin Fambro was right in behind the 28 car. But looking at Nick Johnson, the next car he's got to try to chase down for position is Jeremy Miller, who's actually directly up ahead in 16th.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely be able to get into the top 15. I think he's much faster than Herring, especially.
Yeah, and then,
the 91's out of 4, so I think 15th is his goal at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a significant gap between 15 and 14, so 15's a pretty solid goal to look forward to try to get. And there you see Johnston working around the outside of the 23 of Miller. This should be a pretty easy pass for position here.
You see here he's going to get by the 23 easily. He's also going to get to the outside of Will Roberts out of the turn. He'll blow by him down the backstretch, and he's only got about a second to the 98.
There's Steve Herring up ahead in the 15th place spot, so Johnson looking at least getting a solid top 15 finish. It won't be much, but at least be some consolidation considering the way his night has gone from looking at winning this race by a decent margin.
Hey, he salvaged a decent bit, but in no way is he going to be happy at all about this. Who knows what happens in the next couple of races. This could have just been a deciding factor, this championship.
Yeah, absolutely, especially considering how few races we have. Again, going to Auto Club next week on Tuesday. Forward to that and seeing how the next chapter of this championship plays out. But as far as the rest of the race is concerned, as Colin Fambro comes out of turn 4, he's going to be looking at 16 laps to go. Still a really solid lead over Chad Simpson as he navigates a decent amount of lap traffic.
He's got a lot of lap cars around him. It's always scary when you have this many cars around. You never know if a mistake happens. You could be right in the middle of it. He's got to make sure he stays smooth and be on his toes.
Here comes David Kalb again. Came very late back onto pit road to get tires. Going to work past the inside of the 64 Randy Bader Jr. Now looking on the back of our leader here. And this is when this is where it gets really sketchy. You got a slower car passing a faster car, and not just any fast car. It's our leader.
Oh. Yeah, he's right in the middle of it right now. Fambro is 90. He's gonna let him go. 90.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know if he'd be doing that if I was called, but he's gonna get a lap back.
Yeah, I'm sure for Fambro that was a lot more intense than he would have liked, but he'll continue on.
Yeah, actually, the 17 might get to Johnson by the end of this. We'll see. Much fresher tires.
Trying to look here, a lot of the battles have subsided for this race. Stroll really is the closest battle is looking between, actually, scratch that, Thomas Bressy's caught back up to Robert Gamble. This battle brewing between these drivers, 0.3 of a second separating 6th and 7th place.
Yeah, Gaba missed the bottom a couple times there. It's not what you want to do, especially at the late stages when the car slides out of these turns. It'll definitely be one to look at. I think Bressy will probably have a good shot at him.
Absolutely, and we're looking like Bressy might not have been able to get back to the 75, but found something in the later part. I'm not sure if he just saved his tires better than the 75, but here he is back. Got 13 laps to get this pass done.
As long as he just has to work to get under him out of the turns, it shouldn't be too difficult. Gaba just keeps sliding up off the turn. He can't even get to the blue line right now. He's really struggling to rotate the center at this point in the run. Bressy trying to look to the inside. Gaba not blocking too hard. Here he goes.
And there goes Bressy to the inside of the 75 of Gaba for 6th place. Gaba defending on that outside. He's going to hold on for at least another corner.
Yeah, I didn't think it could be done, but it's great run out of 2. He got a really good run out of turn number 2 there. I don't think he can do the same out of 4, but it doesn't seem like Bressy can get enough grip on the bottom, especially if Gaba pinches a little bit. It's going to be a difficult pass.
This is all going to be about setting up your setting up the corner exits, getting a good run out of the corner before, and then planning a move in the next corner. Bressy's still trying to follow in behind that 75.
You definitely got to focus on the exits for sure. And it doesn't seem like Bressy can get the exits right now. It seems like that's where Gaba's especially beating him into 2. It's like Bressy's good. I believe Bressy's better than him in 3 and 4, but Gaba's able to hold strong in 1 and 2. Here comes Bressy again.
Really solid run for Bressy. Gonna have a look up the inside. Gaba not even gonna defend as they head side by side into turn 1. Curious to see how Gaba's gonna be able to defend this, if anything.
He didn't get a good run there. I think he should get the run out of a turn though. They'll still be side by side.
Yeah, actually Bressy got a really good run on the exit of the corner in comparison to the 75 side by side into turn 3. Bressy's gonna try to send it down into the corner, but here comes Gaba back on the outside.
This is pretty much everything Gaba's got right now, trying to hang it around the outside, but I think he might have damage that's hurting him down to straightaways. I think Bressy's going to clear him. Yes, he does.
Indy does. Bressy down into turn 1 will hold on and take away 6th place position. And I don't think he might be able to really climb much more than that. He's got 4.7 seconds back up to Brian Chambliss in 5th place.
Yeah, I think that battle's done for now. I'm trying to check Riley Thompson. See if Chambliss might be catching back up to Riley Thompson. I think he is, actually.
Nick Johnston has caught and passed Christian Grisco for 15th place, so Johnston back up into 14th. Ooh. And trying to look at the lap time difference, he's looking to cash and pass Casey Lakatos up ahead in 13th as well.
Yeah, that's who Gaba's going by right now to turn 2. Really close to a wall for Lakatos. We'll see. It's all about damage control right now. He's doing a decent job at it.
Yeah, I'm trying to just going off the last lap through. We'll see for Lakatos if it's a little bit faster. That was just kind of an anomaly, but Johnson running a second faster per lap. It's about a 4 second gap now between them. Across the line for Lakatos to 33. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty slow compared to some other guys. For Nick Johnston, 31.9, so over a second faster a lap.
I think we'll definitely get to him, I think. As long as he can keep that up, for sure, he'll get a chance at him. So, just still checking some other gaps. Riley Thompson might have used some up. Chambliss is trying to reel him back in a little bit. I don't think he'll get there by the end, but Thompson really tried burning his stuff.
And David Kalb, too, he's actually trying to recover a bit on a recovery drive himself. Got past the 91 of Christian Grisco, as well as moved up into 15th. He's actually chasing down, or trying to chase down Nick Johnston. He's only 1.3 seconds behind the 28 car and running about on pace with him.
We'll see what he gets to him. He was slower that lap because he was getting by the 93, but they might all, the 50, 28, 17, they might all converge at the very end. We'll see, but they're running out of laps pretty quickly. As I think Farnborough's going to come around for 5 to go this time, as he just put Will Roberts a lap down, I believe, down to 9 on the lead lap.
Yeah, and that's kind of to be expected considering how many laps we've had. As we go 5 laps to go in this race, out of 165 laps, we've only had 1 caution the entire night.
had a couple of little incidents down the backstretch and into turn 3, but everyone kept this straight. Some good saves, good driving, and we're almost to the end of this one. Fambro is just hoping everyone can just keep their heads on for the last couple laps.
Yeah, at least until he sees the white flag, because at that point it's going to be over no matter what. So he's just hoping until that lap everyone holds their cool. As you see him now trying to work on the 76 of Welker. Welker, I imagine, going to give this up pretty easily. No point in fighting out. This is going to leave only 8 cars on the lead lap.
Not giving up easily just yet. No reason not to, though. He should have the lucky dog position easily. Really no one up in range to get lapped by the end of this one, as we've seen Nick Johnston and David Cobb get around the 50th Lakatos now.
Yeah, and Cobb is caught back up to Nick Johnston. Closing in here, running about on pace, right a little bit faster last lap through, so might not be over for Nick Johnston just yet. He might potentially get past here in these last few laps.
We'll see what happens here. Looking, if only Nick Johnston's wishing it was the race for the win, but it just wasn't meant to be. Got a battle, I believe that is for the lucky dog now. Will Roberts. Oh, wreck on the backstretch. The 76 wrecked. Is that going to bring out the yellow?
I don't think it is.
He's off the yellow. I don't think it will.
No, he's going to continue going. But for Welker, going to collide
Welker's
with.
stopping it on the track, is he?
No,
he's not.
He's trying to get back going.
Yeah, he brought up the track. I thought he was going to stop on the track. That is not what they needed to do. There was no reason for any of that.
Yeah, that was surprising to see between Welker and Will Roberts.
Yeah.
Oh, Roberts. Oh, okay. So Roberts had a checkup off of turn 2, got loose, and then meandered into the 76. And we're talking about the fact that these cars don't have a lot of grip coming out of the corner.
On the back. The 91 and the 64 crashed.
Oh no.
Wow. Okay. Does that count as a commentator's curse? I don't know. We were talking about it.
Yeah. It's the wrong spot.
Sorry, it was Randy Bader Jr., Christian Gritzko. The 64 was right behind the leader, and they wrecked down the backstretch. Trying to look at it, it looked like it started with Lakatos.
Yeah, taking a look here, Fambro to the, there you see Fambro working his way on by. There's the 91. Oh, he just got loose getting to the inside of the 50. Wow.
Yeah, there was a big closing rate. The 50 hit the wall, and he swerved to avoid them. And I think the tires are so old that it just they just didn't really have traction to do the maneuver that he did. And the 91 got loose, and poor Randy Bader Jr. just had nowhere to go. And 91 hit the inside wall hard, and it changes everything just like that.
Indeed, it does. Not really so much for Nick Johnston. He's still going to be a lap down. I think he actually might have just gotten one of those laps back.
If he takes the wave around, because I'd be surprised if anyone stayed out.
See, a lot of drivers coming onto pit road. Does anyone dare to stay out?
9 drivers on the lead lap, and
Will Roberts stayed out.
He was a lap down, though.
Oh, okay,
I
yes.
thought he was a lap down.
Yes, he was.
Him and Stroll. Actually, Stroll gets the lucky dog. Good break for him. Will Roberts will have to take the wave round along with a couple others, maybe including the 28. I am not sure.
Yeah, well, gotta re-rack your field up as we get everyone sorted out here. But here's on pit road. Race off of pit road is going to be the 5 of Colin Fambro, the 46 to Chad Simpson. He's got a shot at getting the win, and here we go side by side. The 9 and the 58. Looks like Pistorius is going to get that 3rd spot over
Riley Thompson.
Yeah, well, actually,
Chambers just didn't get the best of stops there. I think he dropped 4th to 6th or something like that.
Something's going on here. Riley Thompson's actually scored an 8th on my screen, according to timing and scoring.
And this is where they came into the pits.
He
has a much later stall before the line, I believe.
Yeah, so not sure. Looks like Thompson should be a lap down.
Because he started so far in the back, his pit stall is right before the line, so he's probably behind the people who qualified up front when he crossed the line.
No, right, but what I'm saying is I'm surprised he's position-wise, he's scored behind Chambliss, even though Chambliss is ahead of him. Oh, you know what? I think my timing... Oh, okay, never mind. My timing scoring is messed up because ATVO doesn't like green-white checkers.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's understandable. Johnson's actually going to come into the pits to get his tires, so no wave around for him.
Yeah, so he's actually still scoring a lap down, so not an ideal situation for the 28.
These unlimited green-white checkers?
It is actually. I was going to ask if you can take a look and see how much time's remaining in the server.
Let me check. It says hour 55. I think we have about 25 minutes. No, about 17 minutes to go. I think we should be fine. I hope we don't need unlimited. We shouldn't, but I guess we'll find out.
We'll see here. I mean, these guys have been pretty clean here. I gotta imagine they might want to take out. Some drivers might want to take out their frustration here. And I am curious again. Now we have a chance. Chad Simpson and Colin Fambro. They're on equal ground. Gonna be starting side by side here. Do you think that 46 has got something for Fambro?
Depending on when Fambro goes, I'd be looking out for Pistorius right behind him in the inside line. Usually the guy on the outside front row, unless he's really good at restarting, he won't go as well as the guy in third. I expect Pistorius to have the best chance, but at the same time, I think the jump that Fambro is going to get on the initial restart is going to be too much to overcome. They'll probably be side by side for a second. That's all the 5-car needs.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure Fambro might have been slamming his desk as that caution came out. Was so close to walking away from it.
He was probably scared. It was right by him. He narrowly avoided the 50 as well.
Pace car coming back across the line. A lot of drivers looking to get a waiver on back on the lead lap. Pace car light's going to go off. We're going to get our first attempt at a green light checker. There you see Lakatos. Will Roberts, looking at the 92 of Matthew, is also going to get a wave by.
Steve Herring as well. Joe Holloway in the 66. Jeremy Miller and Calvin Pilarski, John Wilco, David Kolb, and that's it.
Everyone else here lining up double file here for the restart. We're going to be coming to lap 171 over our scheduled distance. For our first attempt of a green light checkered. Again, we have unlimited attempts at green light checkered as time remains, and from our estimates, looking at potentially having 2 or 3 other attempts if we need it.
Hopefully we don't need it. This restart should spread out the field a little bit. I expect Fambro to go pretty early to get the big gap into turn number 1.
This is essentially going to be for all the marbles here after a long race, 167 schedule laps. Going to come out to a 2-lap shootout, and if Colin Fambro can make it through, he'll be able to secure his win. A little bit later than he expected, but we'll see how he fares off here. Coming out of turn 4, the pace car going to make the left turn onto pit road. We get ready for the restart. Field slowly approaching the line.
There he goes.
There he goes. Green flag back in the air. 2 laps to go.
It was a decent restart for Chad Simpson. He's going to clear for P2. Pistorius wasn't able to get the best restart as I anticipated. It's going to be the 46 and the 5 for the win.
Yeah, indeed it is. And how about Riley Thompson working around the outside of Hayden Pistorius? Pistorius going to walk up the hill, almost put the 50. Oh, the 9 goes spinning down. To the
are they wrecking up front? No, I thought they were. Sorry, I thought saw some smoke there, but it was
I'm sure for Fambro, he definitely doesn't want them to wreck. Here they come out of turn 4. White flag is in the air, and we're going to make it to the end of this race.
I think they might have wrecked. Pistorius is on pit road, but never mind. I think it's too late to talk about that. Fambro's running away with this one. Missed the bottom there, but I don't think the 46 is close enough to capitalize.
Yeah, it looked like there might have been a chance for him to potentially lose this race, but after a great restart, he's going to drive away with it. In behind them, though, Bresci throwing a massive block on McQuistion. But for the 5 of Colin Fambro, as he rounds out a turn, number 4 will get his first win out of the season here at Charlotte.
And a crazy finish there. Saw a huge shakeup in the finishing order a little bit there. Simpson second, Riley Thompson third, Chambliss fourth, Robert Gaba rounds out the top 5. Then Bresci, McQuiston, Stroll, David Kolb, and Joel Holloway gets a top 10. But I need to see what happened to Pistorius. He was third on the restart, and he did not finish this race. He finished all the way back in 16th.
Yeah, he actually got wedged into the inside wall after he had a spin on the back straightaway. So that's how his race ended up done. But looking at Colin Fambro here coming out of turn 4. Going to take home the checkered flag for the first race of our chase here for the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series.
Meanwhile, in the middle of all that, the 28 didn't take the waiver on there. He was able to claw back to P12. A decent day for damage control for the 28, but definitely could have been more.
see Colin Farrell lining it up, your race winner. Number
Bet
5
he's
machine.
relieved.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm sure his heart sank for a bit, but now it's probably gone back to the surface as he's able to take the win. Trying to figure out how to finish that sentence.
It's one way to do it. He finished out. He realized how to finish this race. He was dominant ever since. Obviously, he got some help with the 28's troubles, but ever since he took the lead, he was gone.
Yeah, and actually Nick Johnson, he was able to use that caution to his benefit a little bit. He was looking at only a 13th place finish, went up into 12th, so still recovery for him nonetheless.
Yeah, we'll see how the points shake up. Obviously, he didn't get the halfway points or anything like that. That I assume he might have not have got. He might have gotten most laps of that. I don't know when it happened. Probably not though. But either way, a lot of points left on the table.
And so with Colin Farrell, it looks like he's enjoyed his celebration. Yep, definitely has enjoyed it quite a bit as the motor just went. We're going to take this chance to cut to break. We'll grab some drivers to interview. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we're back here with your 5th place finisher, Robert Gamma, in the 75 machine. Robert, you ran a really solid race. You qualified really well, and you also finished really well. Started in 4th and finished in 5th. Walk us through how your night went.
For me, it was honestly uneventful. With that whole 150 lap run we had, everything fell my way perfectly, and I absolutely love this place. I've always been pretty good here. Always been consistent here. Just able to kind of learn from these guys up here and kept moving up throughout the race.
Yeah, indeed, you did a really solid run. And you saw you had a great battle with Thomas Bresci, especially at the line. You guys finished 9,000 between each other. So, with that final restart, what was your goal in mind?
Top 5. But yeah, I got to give him a lot of credit, a lot of respect. I drove him down to the apron on the backstretch to compromise his entry. Otherwise, I never was going to beat him off the corner. Almost still didn't. He definitely could have upped me. Got a lot of respect for him not doing that.
Yep, indeed. Again, great job, Robert, with a solid 5th place finish. I know you're a part-time driver in the series. Do we expect to see you at Auto Club next week?
Yeah, I should be.
All right, we'll see you there.
See ya. Thank you.
Moving on next to our 3rd place finisher in Rally. Buddy, you came from all the way in the back of the field from 24th all the way up into 3rd. How on earth did you manage that?
Finally actually changed my steering ratio. Thanks for Hayden for reminding me to do that right on the grid. Almost missed it because of that, but I think that definitely helped me save tires. I've been struggling on these 1.5 milers for I don't know how long, especially since this new tire model came out.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't able to quite remember exactly what it put you so far back there. Were you able to get a qualifying time in?
No, I got the wall on both of my laps.
Okay. So do you think, especially considering the pace you shown, you drove your way up into 4th place. Do you think if that did not happen, do you think you could have been walking out of here with a race win?
It would have been close. I mean, if Nick didn't get a penalty, he probably would have run away with it easily. And then Colin, he got out so far ahead. Everyone just had their own advantages in each part of the run.
Well, that was Riley Thompson, your 3rd place finisher. Riley, thanks for talking to us, and we'll see you next week at Auto Club.
Yep, see you.
Moving on to our 2nd place finisher, Chad Simpson in the 46. And Chad, you had a really solid run in that 46 machine. If I'm not mistaken, I think this has been one of the best runs you've had all season.
Yeah, it's a track that I know I'm good at, and a setup that felt really nice to me. So I was expecting a solid finish. I was glad to see this as the first race in the playoffs. I think it's a nice statement race to start off with.
Yeah, and especially, really solid finish for you in the points. You're behind Nick Johnston. Johnston with a big issue to his machine, or really just having a pit road speeding penalty. Put him way down the order, so that's going to bump you up quite a few points. Do you find yourself really in the championship fight?
I think so. We got some more good tracks coming up, and Johnston had that bit of a lead on everybody winning the regular season. So, not that I mind a bit of misfortune, to be honest. It helps everybody else.
Definitely helps to pick up the pieces when they're down, and you definitely did that with a solid 2nd place finish, Chad. I'll expect to see you at Auto Club next week.
Yeah, thanks to you guys. Thanks to Spark VR for the sponsor. Thanks to my parents for helping spot me tonight. It's tough running in a series with no teammates.
That's awesome having your parents spot for you.
It's nice people feeding information.
I should get my parents to do that for me. I doubt they ever would, but Chad, thanks for talking to us.
I don't think my mom would clear me very well. I'd be a bit concerned. It'd be cool. I just would be a bit concerned. I love you, though, Mom.
I honestly feel very much the same way. But last but certainly not least, going to Colin Fambro in the 5. Colin, fantastic win to you. We were talking about it early in the race. You've only had one top 5 and one top 10 finish this entire season so far. So how does it feel to finally get a win in?
Man, it's such a relief. The season has been nothing short of a disaster, really. I feel like I've been at the wrong place at the wrong time, and had so much bad luck this year. This one feels really, really good.
Yeah, and especially because you were quite a bit ways down in the points. Looking at it, it was just updated. I'm not sure if the bonus points were added. I'm trying to double check that now. Yeah, it looks like all the bonus points were added. Thanks, Will Roberts, for updating that really quickly. Looking at it, you're looking to be about 20 points in behind some of our points leaders. So do you find yourself really this kind of giving you that shove into a championship fight?
Yeah, I think it provides a shot in the arm for sure. I've got some good tracks coming up, so if I can have some solid repeat performances and kind of stay out of trouble, I think I have a shot to go up there and contend with those guys.
All right, well, Colin, best of luck to you next week at Auto Club and for the rest of the season.
All right, thanks, Finian.
With that, that's going to round out our interviews for tonight. And again, a really fun race, especially, no offense to Nick Johnson, but not having him up in the front really made things interesting to watch. It's not often that you're going to see a driver, again, with 5 wins this season so far. Still, I think has secured that title as far as most wins of the season for the rest of it. A great job done by him. To see him struggle was really out of the ordinary tonight.
There's a lot of stuff going on there that kind of made us shift our heads a little bit, and that was the big one for sure. Pretty much the whole big gap he had from the regular season championship pretty much erased. Thomas Bressie only 1 point behind now. Chad Simpson gained 3 spots. He's 6 points behind Johnston. Then Travis McQuiston, who salvaged a good run, he's 7 points behind. Pistorius, 12 behind. About 5 or 6 guys who are really in the hunt right there, mainly the top 4 who are separated by 7 points. It's going to go right down to the wire if this keeps up.
Yeah, indeed. And looking at Chad Simpson, moved up 3 positions, is 8 points behind, and Bressie taking the points late away, and he was in for a really good fight with Chad Simpson coming in to those guys really looking like the favorites. The odds have shifted in favor of Thomas Bressie, at least for now, going into the next round at Auto Club, which will be on Tuesday. So really looking forward to that race. But gonna have to wrap things up for tonight. Again, thanks to Connor Horn for coming in fairly short notice for filling in for tonight. Unfortunately, Brandon Kreutz, my normal co-commentator on these nights, had some technical difficulties. So again, thank you, Connor, for joining me.
No problem. It's always fun doing these. Always a great honor to do work for SimTV. Y'all are one of the, if not the best in the business. I love doing these.
Really appreciate it, Connor. So that's going to wrap up coverage here of the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series from Charlotte. My name is Finney DeCuna with Connor Horn. We'll be signing out.